Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making my largest purchase since my huge retro video game haul about like a month and a half ago. And the strange thing is, I'm going to be making it from my local competition. That's right, a couple of other video game resellers in my very town reached out for this deal. So let's go see what it is. All right, folks, well, I am here with my new friends, Corbin and Amy, Cheap Finds Gold Mines on YouTube. I actually gave them a shout out like a couple weeks back in a video, not knowing that this was going to happen today. But here is the deal that we are working out. You guys might be a little bit surprised, but this right here, $2,400 we're paying for this stack of games. And I'm sure everybody wants to know how in the world you guys came across a deal like this and what the story is. So why don't we get situated a little bit here and you guys can fill us in.
For sure.
So tell me a little bit, guys, about what exactly this is, this $2,400 stack of discs here, and how you acquired it.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Corbin go over that because we weren't even going to stop at this pawn shop, but he saw it and was like, let's just go in. So we did.
So,
well, and actually, I guess I should start by saying that these people right here are my local competition, right? Other video game resellers and YouTubers. Again, channel is Cheap Finds Gold Mines. Definitely go check them out if you have not yet. It'll be somewhere in here. I'll put it right over my face. They're looking for exactly the same kinds of deals that I am. And this one, believe it or not, worked out so that like we can both make some money on it. They were out on a buying trip very similar to what I do, out at what, pawn shops, thrift stores, that kind of. Yeah. So tell us the story.
Yeah, so we do a lot of road trips, or we like to, and we just stumbled upon this little hole in the wall, just out in the middle of nowhere pawn shop. Met the owner, started talking, and then finally she's like, well, my son does something very similar. So he finally came down, met him, and he took us to the lair. The basement. And stuff you wouldn't believe was down there. But he had 300 loose copies of this game, and if you don't know, it's the Don't Starve Mega Pack for the PS4. 300 copies. And he hooked us up. $50 is what we paid. Unfortunately, sadly.
Sorry, bro.
Sadly,
which is crazy. Of course, I knew that already because I watched their YouTube video on it. So there's no, barriers up regarding that or anything. But what a connection!
Right.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that I think the longer you're in business reselling, the more opportunity you have to make connections like that. And it doesn't take all that many people that you know like that to really like make or break your business. I mean, that's huge.
Right. And for us, it's been a nice snowball effect. Once you meet somebody, become friends with them, then they introduce you to somebody, and it just keeps rolling like that. So we've been very fortunate, very lucky. We're very outgoing people, so that really helps us kind of funnel connections in, and deals like this can happen to you all too.
Yeah.
We're not special.
No, we're not.
So how would you guys, normally you get a lot like this in, what kind of platforms would you be selling it on?
eBay.
Yeah. So we saw on eBay, Mercari, and then Facebook Marketplace.
And you guys started much heavier on the Facebook Marketplace side, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of a cool part of your story, I think, that a lot of people might not be as familiar with, because I don't know a lot of people that primarily have ever sold on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, so we first started on eBay. We sold one item on eBay, and it ended up going to Canada. We had no idea about the global shipping program, so we ended up paying for the buyer to buy the item. Basically.
Oh, there you go.
So we lost $11.
Yeah.
And then I was fed up, I was done.
Just furious.
And then we hopped on Facebook Marketplace after we learned about it. We were so ignorant when we first started that
we didn't know about resellers. We were like, wow, people really do this?
We genuinely, we thought we were the first people to do this.
We
Seriously.
thought we were genius.
But that's kind of how it started. We just started networking, found out about price charting, and then met other resellers. They gave us tips and advice. Ended up selling some DS games to you.
But pre-YouTube. I don't think I was on YouTube at that point.
Okay, yeah. So we actually ended up meeting Caleb locally and sold him some DS games, and he told us about Mercari. And then that's when we hopped on Mercari, and then it kind of just taken off from there. So
yeah, so Mercari and eBay are where you primarily are at this point.
At this point.
And that's kind of where you were expecting to sell like all these games, right?
Yeah.
And one good thing, one of the reasons that this deal worked out is that Don't Starve it's like more of an indie game. It's one that you're not likely to find on Walmart's shelves, so it's held its value fairly well, as opposed, like, a lot of people think that recent gen games, like, all of them are going to be more valuable than PS3 games, for example. That's not always the case. There are a lot of them that are worth like $1 or $2 if they're overproduced or if they're free online. But this is not one of those games, which makes this deal overall much more profitable. So what would you guys estimate is like the total value of like this whole stack here?
Yeah, so do you know the total value?
It was, what was it, $6,717.
Dang. And that's how much per game?
That's at $22.90 profit.
$22.90 profit per game. And that was for, what was that, for Amazon?
Yes. So
Okay.
That was after fees and everything.
Yeah. So a total value, if all of this sells at current market rate on Amazon, of 6,000 something.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about like why this deal actually worked, because I think there's a lot of value for people, at least for me. Let me ask you guys this. Is there anything inside you when like you see another reseller out there, like maybe they're at a Goodwill or a yard sale, like doing the same treasure hunting that you are, that like hates them?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some of that for me.
For
that
sure.
I'm like screw that person. Like I don't want to have anything to do with them. Like give them the cold shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit, because especially if they're looking for the same thing that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Like,
if I see someone at the yard sale walking away as I'm arriving with a stack of video games,
Yeah.
I'm furious. I'll be straight up. I'm like, I should have got up 10 minutes earlier, and
Yeah.
that would have been mine. So yeah, this deal works out though because again, we have 17 cents into each one of these games, in each copy. So our buy cost was so low that it's smarter for us to just wholesale it out real quickly and just do that quick flip. And then Caleb will still be making quite a bit of money. I mean, he'll easily be doubling his money on this, and it's just a win for everybody. We made money, he made money, and then we have this connection still, so we can get a lot more of these and continue that cycle. And then eventually we would like to do Amazon.
yeah, but it's good that we don't do Amazon,
Right.
because this deal was able to happen.
Right, and that's part of it, because on eBay they were going for around like what, 20 or so, like
About
About
15, yeah.
15 or 20. And so once you factor in, and is that after shipping and fees?
No.
So 15 or so plus, 3 or 4 to ship, maybe a couple bucks in fees, you're down to around 10 a piece. So, and 10, and what am I paying a piece on these, like $8?
$6.67.
$6.67. So not all that far off from what could have been netted selling them individually on the platforms that they are on. So I guess I wanted to bring that up just to reinforce the utility, the usefulness of networking, even with other resellers within your same niche.
Right.
Because you don't know if they're on the same platforms or if they have the same business model, or like maybe there's another video game seller out there who sells primarily, we were just talking earlier about like antique booths, right? Or flea markets, how sometimes they will sell all the games that are junk to them,
Right.
that they can't get hardly anything for a couple bucks a piece almost, to people who sell in booths, because they're able to sell them for more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the same with pawn shops. I mean, pawn shop is just it's a giant reseller.
That's a good point.
And not everybody knows everything about everything. So use that to your advantage. If you have a specialty like video games, just know pawn shops. Yeah, they may know an N64 game is worth more, or this and that, but games like the NCAA Basketball 10 for the PS3 or Xbox 360, that's a $2 game to them. And then that's kind of where we jump in.
Exactly, yeah. Some of the older sports stuff that like would sit on their shelf for years, we're happy to pay for, because we can get it to the buyer that would want it.
Right.
And that's a great point. I think just being opportunistic with other people who like maybe like pawn shops who are selling video games. Like I walked into a pawn shop the other day when I was in I think Nashville. They didn't actually have prices on any of their games because they wanted you to like bring it up and they'll look it up on eBay and then quote you a price.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, and at first I was like, oh crap, like there's not going to be anything to be done here. But they also had a $4 bin of games, and in there I was able to pull out some like Guitar Heroes and like some rock band stuff that to them had probably sat for forever, and they, because of that, had pre-marked it at, this is $4, we're not going to look it up, and there actually was some opportunity there. So
Nice.
And market values always change. Something random can happen and a game will skyrocket in value. So if that pawn shop's had the game, like you said, for a few years, you know, the value could be 10 times what they have
Exactly,
marked up.
just like Head Coach 09. That game went shoop. It's insane.
So if you guys had to give like a solid takeaway for the people watching at home from this deal that they can implement in their own like resale businesses, what do you think that might be?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Never.
You could be very, I know that's like kiddish and you've heard all your lives, but this is a prime example. The pawn shop was nothing special that we went to and saw, and we stayed around, talked, and networked, and then we're about to make $2,300 off of a $50 investment.
Well, and have you had that guitar as well? That's
Exactly.
worth,
Right.
That was another part of the deal that was kind of a throw-in, right?
Yeah.
Like a Guitar Hero guitar.
Exactly, and he also gave us a few concert tees, like vintage concert tees, and he also gave us Guitar Hero Lives, like the game.
All for the $50.
For free.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Insane.
Somebody in the comments needs to like calculate the actual ROI on that $50 investment, because I mean it's thousands of percent.
I've never heard of that number. That's
Yeah.
But yeah, one other thing that I wanted to say also before people jump on me in the comments and say, you're so cheap, what are you doing, is part of what you have to assess with a deal like this is the risk of having so many units at once. So right now, it's a fantastic, a killer deal because it's like a double up or maybe a little bit more after fees. But what you have to think about is how often is this particular game actually going to sell, and how long are you going to have to sit on it to move all of them? I don't know if this game even sells 300 copies a year on Amazon, especially in acceptable condition, because it's disc only. So one of the things that's going through my mind is, okay, worst case scenario, if the price does gradually go down on this over time, am I still going to be somewhat safe? And at this price point, I'm confident making even a buy of 300 of the exact same game. So just one thing to kind of factor into your mental equation if you ever... Personally, I've never seen a deal like this before. I don't know how common it is, but in case it is for anybody, one thing to chew on.
Yep.
I think that's some pretty good background, some pretty good takeaways for this deal for everybody at home. Where can people find you if they want more of this magnetic reseller couple in Lexington?
Ooh.
Okay, guys. Well, you can find us on Instagram at cheapfinds.goldmines, and you can also find us on YouTube. I'm gonna assume he's gonna stick it right here.
It'll be here somewhere.
And I'll link it in the description too.
Yeah, so our YouTube is Cheap Finds Gold Mines, space between every word. That's about all the social media we have.
Yeah, we're not big on social media. We do it because we have to. So.
Well, thank you guys for this great deal and for having me over here. It's been an absolute blast. And you guys want to do the outro with me?
Ooh.
Oh.
You guys know they watch.
How about we do like the...
Yeah.
Okay, there are some more damaged ones back here that we were holding off on.
Yo, this is like legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
So until next time, we will catch you guys on the flip.
On the flip.